All righty, everybody. Welcome to the Everyday Wholeness Show. I tell you, this is fun for Janet and I. I'm Karen Stultz, your healer for Everyday Wholeness. Basically, I work with online coaches to heal whatever is stopping them from creating success in every aspect of their life. And Janet is here. Please introduce yourself, Janet.
Hi, friends. My name is Janet Uribe, and I function as an intuitive guide and also as an intuitive teacher. And I teach children specifically, but I also recently started mentoring and teaching adults so that they can learn how to master their lives and alchemize the events, the illnesses, the structures and obstacles that we put in the way so that they can learn how to turn basically lemons into apple juice.
Ooh, lemons into apple juice. Well, I'll tell you, Janet has helped me turn lemons into apple juice quite a little bit. And again, we are so excited. We actually have gone through all of this a couple of times, making sure everything works. But you know what? That's the way it is with the world sometimes. Things you plan on, you practice, you get it all in shape, and then something happens.
And that's what makes it whole.
And that's what makes it all whole. We get all of the pieces that are up here and around and about and recognize that it's all for a reason. And it's all how we look at things to make things better. I was talking to somebody, Jenna and I have been talking for quite a while. The whole reason this Everyday Wholeness Show it is taking place is because Janet and I have been talking together for quite a while now, a year or so.
About a year and a half.
Yeah. And it has been so beneficial for both of us. And finally we said, you know what? We can't keep this to ourselves. We just can't, because who knows who is out there who could benefit from the wisdom that we share with each other. So rather than her doing it just for her people and me doing it just for my people, we decided to make this all happen live right here. And
of you and I and all.
To make it all really awesome. We're doing it just on Facebook at the moment, but we are going to also put the audio onto a podcast so you can download the audio when you are ready. If this is of interest. And by the way, if this is of interest to you, we'd love to have you write something in the comments. Give us some hearts, give us some loving, because you know what? We talk together all the time, but it's nice to know that we're reaching a little bit wider audience, right, Janet?
Absolutely. And it's nice to have our start, right? The initiative, the first start is basically us just saying yes to the universe. We're here to play. We're here to connect. We're here to offer our services and learn from each other. And ultimately, I think that's one of my favorite things, right? We're creating this venue, this beautiful vessel for individuals to listen. And I think one of the greatest things I've ever learned is that listening is one of the highest forms of meditation. And it's when I get my best answers. Sometimes, friends, I feel like we're outside or around or in silence and we're waiting there, listening, waiting for our guides to come in, waiting for the higher self to give us the message. And sometimes the universe has this way of giving you the message with the very person or the very friend or foe that's right before you, giving you the exact words that you're meant to hear at that very moment. And what you choose to do with them and how you choose to integrate them or change your life with them is where real change starts to happen. So thank you, Karen, for coming up with this idea and basically giving us this wonderful opportunity to continue collaborating and being of service for all.
Oh, well, it's all about being of service, whether it be to yourself or to other people or whatever it is. We need to do whatever we need to do for ourselves, definitely. Mm-hmm. But when we finally discover what it is that we need to do and our purpose, so to speak, and we start living that purpose, it is time to share that with the world.
Beautiful.
It's so important. And by the way, Janet and I have marvelous tea parties. The third Thursday of each month, the magical third Thursday magical tea party. And it is magical because everyone is unique and everyone has their different situations. And don't we solve all the problems of the world at the magical tea party?
I mean, we at least bring awareness to them.
Yeah, it's great.
Problem-solving portions definitely left to each of us individually. In terms of, you said it just a moment ago. We're basically holding these spaces to be of service. We're here to help each other, but sometimes when we're starting these new ventures or we're starting these new things, and you said when you figure out what you have to do, well, sometimes you won't figure out the whole what you have to do. Sometimes it's as simple as, you know what? Let's just set up our first podcast. That's the very first baby step to the multitude of baby steps that will follow. And so we don't necessarily, and I think you'll resonate with this, we don't necessarily have to know what will come of this conversation today or how it will evolve over the course of time. But the basic premise here being like, we want to get to wholeness, but you can't eat the whole goddamn thing all at one time.
Well, that's it. And if you do, you get very sick and very miserable and bloated and all of that if you have that whole cake at once. So, and it's a case, I think, well, I work with semantics a lot, and I thoroughly believe that problems often arise because we are not understanding each other. The conversations are coming through in ways that are not beneficial. So I like to work with semantics of what is wholeness. So I'll ask you, Janet, what is wholeness for you?
Oh my gosh, friend. And this has been my favorite part of my life journey, because I think that at the beginning of my life, and even up to 5 years ago, wholeness to me was really only acknowledging and honoring the pieces of life that were yummy and easy and flowing and fun, and completely negating the fact that eliminates a whole other half of who I am, or the adversity of life, or the discomforts, or the things that are meant to catalyze us into our next discovery, or our next growth opportunity, or our next healing. So I would say only in the last couple of years have I really gotten closer to what I perceive wholeness to be. And the wholeness is really acknowledging and honoring all components of self. And the more that I do, the more I find that I'm able to acknowledge and honor the components of what the universe and the physical reality is showing me. And being able to transition to that has brought me so much more ease, rather than being in a much more frenetic place, suppressing or struggling, honoring the whole person, the whole experience, the mind, the body, the spirit, and all of the chaos that can come with it as well.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Because, I like easy, as you know, Janet.
Mm-hmm.
I love easy. Make it simple, make it easy. If it's really, really hard, it's time to step back. But if it's really, really important, let's step back and see how else we can do it that might be more simple.
Oh, yeah.
And we did that for the show, didn't we? I mean, we started off with one platform, and it was like, this isn't working. We're not getting on. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. I can't get on, and Janet couldn't get on, and it was a trial. And This is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be relatively simple. So by the fact that we were able to let go, and this will be a podcast, but we haven't figured out how to get it up there because we can't get on there together yet. But we will, absolutely. It's just a case of time.
Yeah. And even so, we're not allowing that we haven't, or the difficulties of it from stopping us, because we're allowing this to play into our values and what we prioritize for us today. And so that's really a big, there's so many lessons in just all of this collaboration that Karen and I have been witnessing in terms of, okay, well, this isn't working. Okay, let's go this way. All right, well, what about this one? Oh, wait, now I can't log into this one. Okay, let me go make another platform. So the idea here being, a lot of us will have 1, 2, 3, 20 obstacles, and we'll just stop right there. I often do find that when I have more than 1 or 2 obstacles, it is time to step away. It is time to step back and really get into the intention of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. So that gives me more complete and wholeness in terms of what this project means to me. But at the same time, God knows, universe knows, source knows, I'm one stubborn little lady. So, you know, I know I love that. This is another cool thing that's about Karen and I. Karen loves ease and flow. And I know I have addictive patterns to chaos and drama. I know the universe brings lessons to me in a very dramatic way. But let me tell you, when I learn them, I master them. So yeah, it's very unique to how I function and who I am. So Karen has been one of my biggest teachers in terms of, well, it's supposed to be easy.
And if it's not easy, think about your intention.
Yeah.
And if the intention resonates fully and totally with you, then we need to find another way that is easier.
Yes.
And honor that shadow side, so to speak, where all of the obstacles are coming in. Perhaps it's not the moment in time that we should be working on this, and honoring that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes. You know, how many times have I said, okay, this is what I should be doing, but I don't feel like it. So honor the fact that you just don't feel like it, because we've had many conversations about this, and I'd love to have our listeners understand that as well, is that when you are forcing something, should, have to, need to, it's probably not going to come out real well.
Yeah, it gets a totally different weight to it. And we'll give our power away. I mean, listen to that, to just that one idea, just a word, should, need. How much power can we give something? We give power to all kinds of people all the time and things and events, but just 2 little words. Instead of I choose, or yeah, this is what I really want, or I'm inspired to do this now.
Exactly. The terminology, how we speak to ourselves, how we speak to others, it makes all the difference in the world.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And honoring. Some people, honestly, Janet, sometimes I know we're supposed to honor everybody and where they are and everything else. But let's be real. We're human as well as beings of infinite possibilities, but we're human. And sometimes those things are challenging to do. And I look at it as, well, okay, let's not throw everything out with the bathwater. Let's not throw the baby out with bathwater, but let's just honor ourselves and recognize that this particular moment in time with this particular person is probably not that beneficial for me at this moment in time.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, my mentor one time told someone who's very dear to my heart, who was struggling with a family member, and they'd been struggling a long time for years, and basically said, okay, look, they're here to be the adversity of the play. They're here to be the contrast to what you need to grow and work on. But there's sometimes when you know that snake's going to bite, and it's a snake, Why would you keep going to try to grab it? And so there are those moments where, yeah, let's just honor the fact that there can be a snake.
And not all snakes are going to bite, but you don't go up and poke the snake. You don't go up and poke the bear.
Yep, exactly.
And that's where the language comes in again. You know, what is, and recognizing the intention. Why are we doing this? Why is it important for us to do this at this moment in time? Because we want to be right.
Oh, God.
Because we want to have control over the situation.
I mean, girl, let's just stay there for a second. Let's just, I mean, just open up your news app. Just look around you. Just go knock on your neighbor's door. The attachment to having to be right is a whole other can of worms, right? In terms of, all right, well, what does being right give us? And sometimes it's that perceived maybe or misperception idea, an erroneous idea, a correct idea, I don't know, of my own wholeness. And so there are crazy amounts of things that we'll attach to with the idea of, well, it's correct. And so many components can come up. Well, 1, why is it correct? 2, is it correct because someone told you it was correct? 3, how does that correctness idea or that correct idea serve you? How is it keeping you safe? I'll tell you, Karen, you know, I have a history of struggling with various illnesses or an autoimmune disorder. And even there's these perceived benefits and drawbacks that play into it. What are the drawbacks of being sick? Well, and it really creates a lot of chaos in my life. Like I could give you a list of 30 things easily. But somewhere where a lot of people don't tend to focus is, well, what are the benefits? What are the benefits of me deciding to continue in this state? There are benefits, friend.
Oh, there are always benefits.
Oh.
Or we wouldn't keep doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And quite often, I think I don't want to say self-sabotage. It isn't, but it is kind of beating ourselves up because not deserving.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
We are people pleasers. We are self-doubters, and we just don't deserve better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's so sad because, hey guys, we all can have almost everything that we want. We were put on this earth to be happy and prosperous. And whatever happiness means to you. I prefer the word joyful because joyful is inside. Happiness depends upon what's going on around you, outside of you. But joy is inside. And we were meant to be joyful and have fun and be prosperous and just have freedom.
Yeah.
That is our birthright. And if we're not living that, it's so important to take a look at that and see how we can correct it. I was talking to someone today, and it took me a while. I didn't understand because both Janet and I work with people who are solution-based. We're looking for a solution to a situation. I think, Janet, right?
Absolutely.
And we want to hang out with people who are willing to look for a solution to whatever the situation may be. And it hit me today after many years of contact with this person that the big issue for her is that she's hanging out with people in trauma, people in negativity that just don't see a solution. And they can't open up enough to find a solution. So she's living in this, oh my God, they found a solution. Whoa, how did they do that? That can't be done. All right, wait a minute. I'm a little confused here, but that's okay. Because she's not a client. We wouldn't get deeper into it. But what it hit today was that her big issue is that the people she hangs with are all in that negative state. So we need to hang around people who are solution-based. Need. Listen to that word again, Janet, need. If you are not feeling wonderful in the state that you're in, it's important to look at other things. And by the way, people who are watching this live, you might notice that Janet is often looking around, because Janet also channels. Her guides are always talking to her during this time. So what were they telling you, dear one?
Oh, well, of course, you know that oftentimes it's a message for me when I'm listening to you, but then I'd share it because oftentimes it's a message for everyone. But basically, how these patterns, I mean, obviously you already brought up the fact that need, it's that word, but, you know, maybe it's choose. Who are you choosing to hang out with? But we begin this programming from such a young age. And they showed me an image, and they're showing me again, kind of like an image of myself looking at my family and basically imprinting their energies on mine and really signing on for their belief systems with mine. And you start to create these microcultures within your own family unit that really do break out and start to follow you in your macro unit. So you'll repeat it with your family, you'll repeat it with your friends, and you have a tendency to find those same voices. Even karmic, I guess, even as it relates to like the karmically or contractually, we'll find those voices again. And some people don't necessarily even know that it's a choice. And then others have such, I mean, I don't want to call it addiction because they may not even know it's an addiction, but it's such a safe place of familiarity for them to be in these areas where they're listening to these negative, cynical like comments or, you know, individuals who are very self-destructive, that's all that they know. And they may not know another way. And same thing, you know, when I mention honoring and we're talking about the wholeness of an individual, there's nothing wrong with where they are.
No.
Nothing wrong with where they are. It's just where they're choosing to be. And there's still more to learn there possibly. But I do love that there are individuals like ourselves and way many others as well that are offering other voices, other perspectives, other solutions, other spaces, platforms that are safe for us to know, oh, wait, there are other options. The voices of our past, the alcoholic parents, the abusive parents, the neglectful parents will often find those patterns repeating in our adulthood. And until we decide differently, we'll continue living in those patterns in various ways. It can be your boss, your neighbor, your best friend, your own children. It does not matter. It'll show up for you again. So what I was basically seeing is after I saw that image of self, immersed in a very toxic environment when I was a very young child, of how I made it a point as a young child to pick better voices and better friends. Even my first husband was a good place for me to learn different dialogue and to really understand what it meant to have more of a positive growth mindset as opposed to, well, don't you know this is how things are?
Well, things happen. And have you ever noticed, though, that when we hang on to the story of this is the way things are, we just keep attracting that same story over and over and over. It's the, and like you said, it is the conditioning that we got as a child. And we can shift that conditioning if we so desire to make the change. But what I find quite often with my clients and with myself, because I had to do a heck of a lot of work on myself.
All of us.
Still working on it. And will until the day I die, which is awesome because I'm always learning, always growing, always moving forward. And I think it's important to recognize where you are, honor where you are. And if you can see, I had many clients coming to me saying, I wish I had the life that you have. And all I could say to them was, well, you can. Absolutely. Very simple. Very simple. It is to be aware of who you are, allow what's going on around, and create the awesome life that is absolutely your birthright. And I don't know if any of that made any sense at all. It's just so important to be aware and make the choice. It is scary because the reason we stay where we are is, as you said, Janet, we're safe where we are. We know the known is safe, even if it's not.
Yeah. And for those of you who are listening and you know that something's off, you know that something's uncomfortable, you wish that it was easier with your kids, or you wish that you had, more money in your bank account, or you wish that you were overcoming a certain illness, or you wish that the drama with the best friend or the mother or the whoever, the coworker, was coming to an end, and you just don't know how to even get to the awareness component. I highly recommend that you hire a mentor, a teacher, someone who's done it before you, someone who has experience in that arena or that area. Your spiritual guide and healer might not be your same mentor as your business coach. So the idea here being definitely connecting with the individuals who can actually help you create more of that awareness and see your blind spots. Blind spots, guys, are those spots that are behind you, that no matter which way you turn your head, it's still behind you.
It's like driving the car and that one spot, and you don't see the other car coming up behind you.
Those blind spots are not possible.
No.
For some people who have been doing the work a long time and who are in a state of telling the universe consistently, show me how to better this. Show me why this is a problem. Show me what I'm creating. I function in that energy a lot. And let me tell you what, when I do that, the adversity that comes with it would be perceived as much from many. But because I'm starting to get the hang of it and what it means to grow and honor the journey here, the adversity of what may seem much larger to other individuals is specifically what I can handle. The universe knows what I can handle. Similarly, I've seen my mentor, Tammy Demirza, was homeless. I don't feel that I'm capable of handling that level of chaos, but she completely changed it around. And the point here being is that you can experience the greatest of adversities, the greatest amount of obstacles or pain, discomfort, but there are ways to fast track this for yourself. There are ways for you to get help, assistance, guidance, for you to take that first semantic, that first step, and really accelerate your whole self.
Yeah.
Whole self.
Yeah. And just take that baby step.
Mm-hmm.
One small baby step that isn't too scary.
Yeah.
And just notice, just become aware of how things change.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, why didn't I do this sooner? This is unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
This is unbelievable. And it's great. I don't know how many people can actually be hearing us, Janet, because I just realized that I had paused the Zoom thing, but
oh, you weren't recording it. Okay.
Not on Zoom, but it was supposed to be live on Facebook. So I don't know.
I think it's still live on Facebook. I've had us, I'm being a creepy Janet. I have us over here. I I've just been watching us. Look, I just saw myself scratch my head.
Oh, okay. Well, cool. It's the voice part, but that's okay. It's all good. It's
okay.
all good.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, just the baby step that we took in getting here is huge. And next time we'll have the voice part. And that's little by little, we're getting all the components in place.
And you know what? It's good because part of wholeness, part of everyday wholeness is recognizing the steps that we are making towards what we want. And although Janet and I have been working on this for 6 weeks or more, look at us today. It's like, all right, enough is enough. We're not going to practice anymore. We're just going to do it. And look, what happened. Yeah. So it's all good. It's still good because our intention is just to maybe impact you a little bit, our listeners, to take that baby shift. Recognize that things happen. We're not perfect. There is no perfection in the world. Strive to excellence and look for the good. Zig Ziglar is one of my all-time loves. I saw him once live and met his daughter, and it was just a few months before he passed. But he was amazing, and he always said, just look for the good. Look for the good. And anybody who knows me, I am a devil's advocate, which means that I'm not always looking for the good. I'm looking for the bad.
But that's just the thing, though. And I think that's where I, like, when you asked me to do this project, I thought, yeah, wholeness is where it's at. We're human. And there are moments when we're looking for the bad, and just even sitting in the bad is long enough to collect information, to learn from it.
Yeah.
Collect information, learn from it. Now, if you're like me, sometimes the bad will pop up and it'll become your whole paradigm for the next 4 hours, maybe even 4 weeks. But at the same time, just, now I can see something bad come up and be like, all right, so this shit sucks. And that means that at any moment, at any given time, very soon, as soon as I collect all of my information and stop giving so much meaning to this bad, I'm about to have a great monumentous shift. And I'm about to turn those sour lemons into some pretty sweet ass apple juice. And we'll all be rejoicing, and I will be bigger, I'll be wiser, I'll be stronger, and I will come out on the other side of it. And I will enjoy my other side until the next bad moment. And that's okay, because that is what actually, creates this whole experience. That is the wholeness. I don't know a single human that does not eat in pleasure and also shit. It's kind of like one cannot exist without the other. Which one are you doing today?
Exactly. It is a choice. It is always a choice. And I know a lot of you may be saying, well, no, it's not. I don't have any choice in this situation. There is no choice. You don't have a choice about your circumstances sometimes, but you always have a choice of how you respond to those circumstances. If you are constantly reacting to something, you have a choice to react or respond. Let's make a plan. When I reacted to something, it didn't necessarily work out real well. Sometimes, a lot of the times, I might have teed off a bunch of people and had some kickback that then I had to figure out how I was going to handle that. But when you stop and recognize that we do have power, we have self-control, we have power. And we can choose to use that in a constructive way, or we can lash out, which is not always beneficial. Although sometimes it is, because we have to let go of some of that energy. And that's where I love the the EFT, the tapping, emotional freedom techniques, because that works so great, because you are supposed to be really upset and you can say whatever your little heart desires. You don't have to think in and breathe in and think the positive thoughts and all of those daisies growing up all around you, if you like daisies or sunflowers or whatever it may be, butterflies. It is real, and it has to get out of our system in order for us to be whole.
Yeah. So ultimately, friend, I think what you're saying, let me know if I'm getting this right. If you do react, guess what? You reacted, but use that too. Why did you react? What was it of that scenario that caused the reaction? Where is there probably some suppressed energy for you that hasn't been addressed, some type of memory or event that happened, whatever it may be, or something about yourself that maybe you're rejecting and you don't like it when you see it in another human being. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if you do react, then that happens. And sometimes we're matching energy, and that's okay too.
And that's okay too.
If you can respond, perhaps it's in higher wisdom. If you can find it in yourself to respond to a scenario. And let me tell you what, sometimes you can make a bigger impact through a response rather than the reaction.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it is amazing how your life shifts, how your life does become more whole when you start responding to things. And the people around you just start to shift. And when you start standing in your power, not out of arrogance, not out of anger, not out of, I deserve this, which you do, by the way, but not out of that kind of determination, but the determination of knowing this is something you do deserve. And so standing in your power with love, all of a sudden the people around you just start shifting. And it's crazy. And how many times have I said to you, Janet, oh my gosh, you know, it happened. I don't know how it happened. And you just do exactly what you're doing right now and smiling at me like, yeah, girl.
Well, ultimately, you know, if you did, and then there's this whole other component. I mean, right now we're talking about the control of the self. You know, that's what you have control over, your choice, your reaction, your own changes. But something that I was talking to my sister-in-law the other day, and she mentioned something incredibly impactful that she had an experience with someone like apologizing to her. And when I was kind of reading the energy of it and feeling it, basically she wasn't expecting an apology necessarily. There was no attachment to it. But at the end of the day, the reflection that she got in that apology was that, you know what? I told her, this is actually how you feel about yourself. You're not mad about yourself. You're not, you know, you're honoring yourself. You're learning to love your wholeness. So this external apology and this response is very specific to who you are and where you are at that moment. So your external reality and the physical is constantly showing you where you are.
Yeah.
And what kind of treatment you'll be getting is oftentimes a treatment of how you feel about yourself. Many of people who in my life know that I struggled most with certain relationships in my life, especially with my mother. And let me tell you what, the more work I did, I saw that transformation with our relationship immensely. It left onlookers somewhat shocked. Like, what? You and your mom? What? And I said, yeah, we're in a really good place because I've learned to love myself. My mom was just merely reflecting some things to me about how I felt about myself. And that is the physical's obligation, is to show you where you are with something or show you that it's time to address something. But typically we get reactions. Oh, that's funny. Now you also, by the way, I'm playing with a Ninja Turtle while we're meeting. for those of you who are listening, I'm also on a screen, and I raised my fidget toy to the screen, and now everyone saw my Michelangelo Ninja Turtle.
Oh, I love Michelangelo Ninja Turtle. That's great. It really is. It really is helpful to look at those things. As you said, and Janet has taught me this, and now I live it, recognizing that what we are getting back is a mirror of ourselves. And that's why I love hanging out with her, because we do mirror each other, and we both need to hear what the other one is saying. And we also are totally aware that somebody out there is listening to this and knows that this is important for them as well, for them to become whole. And it's something that we can do each and every day to just feel good. To me, that's what wholeness is to feel good in yourself and the people you hang out with. It's important. And if there is something in us that we're not happy with ourselves, or we're not happy with the people we're hanging out with, then let's start making the baby shifts.
Yeah.
So that we can, because it's so important, especially in this day and age, what's going on in our world at the moment. This is being broadcast March 22nd of 2022. And there's pain and there's suffering in the world, and it's almost overwhelming. But recognizing what our abilities are, and you may be saying, I don't have any abilities. I'm not like you and Janet. But guess what? You are. You are. And because you can send love out into the universe, and it's like the ripple. I'm sure you've heard about the pebble in the water and rippling out. And you don't know who you're touching, but maybe you're touching that one person who can make a difference. And it's so huge. And it's so satisfying. And you may not know it right now, but everything that we are, say, be, and do is impacting people. You may not recognize it, but it does. And you don't know when or where sometimes, because it takes some time, but it's like, oh my gosh, once I've let go of all of this gradu and pain and start living from the heart, you can send that love out into the world. And it does come back to you in strange and miraculous ways that are so much fun to see. I love being surprised each and every day of the goodness that is out there in this world today, and knowing that I kind of made that happen for me. How cool is that? So I can make a difference in other people's lives. And I know Janet has taught me that.
Thank you, my friend. I'm glad to know. And same, likewise, you have taught me so many of life's eases and pleasures that are just in the ease, that really we're not supposed to be working ourselves to death. It's supposed to come naturally and easy, especially, and for those of you, I'm being asked to share this, for those of you who are currently at a crossroads, who are struggling with where you are, struggling with where you are. It may be a household. Maybe you're in a scenario with COVID where you had to move back home or something, or cohabitate with someone. Maybe you're in a scenario in a workplace where you know that it's a means to an end, or you know something's coming that you just don't know what it is, but you know that you're also not happy where you are. So oftentimes there's still something for you to collect and gather there. And yes, you can choose who you are going to hang out with or not hang out with, but there are some extenuating circumstances that often present themselves with a little bit less choice. But just know that your higher self is choosing with you at this moment as well. And oftentimes those individuals that you may find yourself in pain or difficulty with are the very ones that hold the key to what's next to address for you. The very ones who hold the information or the contrast that is something that you're not secure with about you. I know there's some people who identify as, I'm an isolationist, I'm a hermit crab, I don't need people. Truthfully, we're all here, 8 billion of us. Believe me, you signed on to be with people. The thing is, are you secure enough with yourself, your whole self, the good parts of self and the bad parts of self, the well-perceived parts of self, the misperceived parts of self? Are you good with your whole self? Because when you're not, then suddenly you're a lot more vulnerable to those extenuating circumstances or people that you're hanging out with.
Yeah, I love that. And before we close off today, I have an example of how amazing that is. As you had mentioned, sometimes we don't have control over a situation. We're around people that are really not good for us, and there's not a whole lot we can do. And I have to share, after some work with a client of mine, and he said, Karen, I like feeling positive. I like seeing what occurs when I feel positive. But I am with somebody who is sending off negative energy in my office, and I can't do anything about it. I don't have power over them. I can't transfer her out. I have to work with her. And it's such a Debbie Downer, he said. and I said, well, just we went through our process, recognizing indeed that he didn't have control over the situation or her. The next time he came in a week later, not even. And he said, Karen, guess what? She put in for a transfer. She's out of the office. She moved out the very day after we worked. And it was so, even though you cannot, you think that there's nothing you can do.
Yeah. You're always creating.
You're always creating.
You can let go and trust the process. And your only job's to place your order. And you're placing orders at all times, just so you know. Some people think I have to only be in a meditative spot. No. Every thought is a prayer, my friends. Every thought is an order. So where are your thoughts? Honor them. But yeah, the second I guess your friend made some peace with, I'm not in charge of this situation, the universe takes care of the rest for you.
Yeah.
So listen to this. So for all of you people who are looking to get rid of, your partners, your coworkers, and so on and so forth, what's your intention? What did you learn there? And what do you really want? And you can have it.
You can. And what is so much fun is seeing how it shows up.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's always the cutest thing, because we're not in charge of how that is either.
No. And being aware when it does show up, because it does.
Yeah.
It always does. Sometimes we have closed off and says that we can't do that, but it always shows up. So.
Absolutely. Well, my friend, on that note, I feel like we're in a good place.
Yeah.
I love that we're doing this together. So much gratitude for you, my friend.
Oh, and back at you. This is so much fun. And we'll see how this even worked out. Who knows? But in any case, it's always fun. And when we live in wholeness, life is grand.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
We'll get all those pieces together and create from here and here and here and ooh.
Yeah. Oops.
Okay. Well, thank you again, everybody.
All right, my friend. Have a great day. Much love to the audience.
Oh, yes. Love to you all. And join us. We're going to be here every Tuesday at 12:30 Eastern and 11:30 Central and Mountain and so on and so forth all the way back. But wherever you are, I hope you'll join us. We'll be live here on Facebook for sure, because I think we did that. And we will eventually have these up in a podcast form. So take care now. Bye-bye.